Thank you for your time today. My name is Will Logan, and together with my colleague Louise Koschmann, we're pleased to present our proposal for a communications program that supports the association's objectives to not only secure existing conditions for the 2019 duck hunting season, but also promote the season as a premier annual event on Victoria's regional calendar. I'll be starting off today's presentation with an overview of the organisation itself. Firstly, the association's strengths and opportunities that can be leveraged for a successful campaign. We'll then consider the external conditions and threats we need to be cognizant of when launching the campaign. I'll also outline the communication program's key goal, objectives and messages, as well as the target audiences. Louise will then take you through the strategies and tactics we recommend be implemented for the program and the necessary resourcing requirements for a smoothly run campaign. How will we know the program has been successful? Louise will conclude today's presentation by taking you through the measures we recommend be adopted to determine the program's success. These measures will also help guide future communication programs and the association's longer-term communication objectives. Both the association's membership and its position as Australia's leading advocate for responsible gun ownership and shooting sports provide a strong foundation for this campaign. These strengths support the association's public position as an authoritative, persuasive and influential voice in the duck hunting debate. This is born out of the association's existing relationship with Victoria's politicians, particularly those who are regionally based. These engagements have been effective and will again be critical for this campaign. Additionally, having two shooters, fishers and farmers representatives in Victoria's Parliament provides a powerful advocacy for the association. The association is also in a strong position given the current government support for the duck hunting season. Today, we'll recommend how the association can capitalise on this public support. In any campaign, it's important we remain aware of the risks and conditions we can control and those we can't. Currently, the association promotes its relationship with the US National Rifle Association. It's important the association is aware of just how unpopular the NRA is in Australia, particularly in metropolitan areas. The association needs to be ready to respond to such criticism so it doesn't detract from the campaign's key messages. The association also needs to be prepared should the government announce changes to the upcoming season. And it needs to be effective in how it engages with Victorian politicians in an election year. As part of our development of this proposal, we've evaluated the association's current communications. While the association has made good use of social media, overall its approach is largely reactive, which means it often gets bogged down in responding to hysteria with hysteria, particularly on Twitter. This is ineffective, and today we'll be demonstrating how the association can address inaccurate reporting and its opponents while staying on message. As you'd be aware, currently Victoria's duck hunting season is the subject of the same tired old arguments year in and year out. Therefore, we propose the campaign's goal rise above the annual pro and anti arguments about duck hunting. The goal's focus is on not only securing the season's future, but also influencing public acceptance of the season as an important event on Victoria's regional calendar. Underpinning the program's goals are some key objectives. The first one needs to be the association's immediate focus, and that's ensuring current duck hunting conditions don't change for next year. To achieve the program's goal will require influencing public acceptance of the duck hunting season and its importance to regional Victoria. For the duck hunting season to be sustainable, the association also needs to use this position to increase participation from across Victoria. We've developed some key messages that need to be continually featured throughout all of the association's media and public engagement. It also needs to be reiterated when the association engages with key stakeholders, in particular Victoria's politicians. The message's focus is on dispelling the myths associated with both the duck hunting season specifically, and more broadly the association and its members. So who should the association be directing its messages to? To be effective, the association needs to broaden its profile and messaging beyond its membership and supporters, and start engaging with those who traditionally have held opposed views. This means communicating to those based in metropolitan Melbourne. To increase participation in the duck hunting season will also require engaging Victoria's younger generation. The duck hunting season's future is dependent on the government of the day. That means the association not only needs to maintain its engagement with the current government, but also consolidate its relationships with the opposition and regionally based members of Parliament. It's an opportunity to influence the public support for the duck hunting season as well as raise awareness about this campaign and the association's public engagement. I'll now hand over the reins to Louise, who will take you through how best to develop and roll out this campaign.
Thanks, Will. Firstly, this campaign will be dependent on some key strategies. As Will has indicated, the Association should continue its effective engagement with Victoria's politicians, in particular the Minister and Opposition Minister for Agriculture and those politicians in areas where duck hunting occurs. The Association needs to step up its engagement with Victoria's mainstream media, particularly those based in metropolitan areas. There's a broad range of cost-effective channels and methods the Association can adopt that will deliver maximum impact. Will also highlighted the Association's current social media engagement. A well thought out social media plan, effectively executed, will ensure the Association's influence of the 18 to 35 age group. I'll now take you through how these strategies ought to be implemented and the recommended timeframes. To secure existing conditions for the 2019 season, the Association needs to be proactive in engaging with both decision makers and those who are part of the decision-making process. That means ministers, regional, state and federal politicians and the Game Management Authority. And we'd recommend the Association get in as early as possible to ensure its position is well understood. Broadcast media is where the bulk of the campaign needs to happen. This will require extensive program development, including content development, building a list of key media contacts and engaging with them to build relationships and generate interest. Note we've recommended direct media engagement rather than an advertising campaign, which is particularly expensive in metropolitan areas given the campaign's aims to reach across the state. We'd also recommend the Association identify who from both its leadership and membership will publicly represent the Association. This is an opportunity to identify effective contributors who can represent the Association in a positive light and dispel the myths about the Association's position and its membership demographic. To stay on message and ensure the messenger doesn't become the story, we also think it's imperative these representatives undergo media training. Similarly, a social media campaign will require a month to develop content, including short videos and messaging. To avoid current pitfalls in the Association's management of opposing views, content development also needs to focus on developing effective responses to such views. For example, we note the Association has previously engaged with the RSPCA in a respectful, balanced debate. Streaming a discussion between the two groups is a terrific way to influence respect for the Association, including those who don't agree. We suggest the Association post regularly throughout August and September, which will also require regular monitoring of its social media channels. As you know, to be effective, a campaign needs to be well planned and well resourced. It's important too the Association invest in professionally trained communication experts. This is particularly important when engaging someone to develop an effective media engagement strategy and content development. A part-time contractor for the 3-month period the campaign will manage the media strategy rollout, ensuring the Association's key messages are being regularly featured throughout a variety of media channels throughout Victoria. A video production team will be required to develop a series of short videos for the social media campaign. We'd also recommend an experienced social media communicator be engaged to support the Association's existing communications resource in message development and monitoring. This resource will also be critical in providing guidance to the Association on how to effectively manage opposing views and stay on message. I'll take you through our recommendations for campaign evaluation in a moment. We've included a budget for this and the media training, which are both services Will and I can provide for the Association. We'd also strongly recommend a reasonable contingency to respond to any unforeseen costs that may arise during the campaign's development and rollout. We can only determine a campaign's effectiveness by investing both the time and resources to evaluate what aspects of the campaign resonated with key audiences, which communication channels worked, and what aspects of the campaign were ineffective. Evaluation outcomes will also inform future campaigns. As you've seen, we've recommended the association invest its time in meeting with decision makers and political influencers. An analysis of both conditions for the 2019 season and politicians' support for the association's position will be key indicating in determining the effectiveness of the association's engagement. Focus groups, particularly in metropolitan Melbourne, should be engaged to test messaging and social media content prior to campaign rollout. These groups should also be engaged at campaign close to provide the association with insights as to what messaging and which communication channels were most effective. Online surveys and polls via Facebook and Twitter can also provide insights into the extent to which the association's messaging is resonating. The effectiveness of the social media plan should also be evaluated. This entails not only measuring the number of likes and shares of the association's posts, but also an analysis of comments and reactions. An analysis of the association's website visits during the campaign will also be instructive. What were the volumes, which pages were the most popular, and which social media channels were visited via the website. That concludes our presentation. Thank you very much for your time. We are confident our proposal will deliver on the association's objectives, both for its members and Victoria's duck hunting season.